I'm sure we've all seen the term secondary service connection when it comes to VA disability claims. Today we're going to dive into a little bit of what that means, so stick around. Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're talking about secondary service connection for VA disability claims. What is a secondary service connection? Secondary service connection really means an additional disability or health issue that you have that can be directly linked back to a condition that you're already service connected for. Remember, your base diagnosis needs to be service connected for you to add a secondary condition onto the top of it. And there's a lot of little rules and regulations about how you go about this. We're going to cover the basics and get into it right now. So when a veteran has a disability, right? When us veterans have disabilities and we go to the VA and the VA recognizes that there's a disability that's connected to your service, right? Okay, hey, somebody has depression and PTSD. And depression and PTSD is service connected from the time that they were over in Iraq or Afghanistan or Vietnam, whatever, right? So now you've got PTSD, you've got depression, you've got the mental health claim. So a secondary claim to that could be, and I'll explain why, could be type 2 diabetes. And a lot of people are going to go, what the heck are you talking about, type 2 diabetes? Yeah, because PTSD and depression leads to, PTSD leads to depression. Depression leads to inactivity, cutting yourself off, gaining weight, eating, just self-destruction type of stuff. And that obesity can trigger type 2 diabetes, which can then be pulled back and connected, as long as you have the evidence connecting them, back to the PTSD and the depression. That's how secondary conditions actually work. So, understanding the difference between the two. A service-connected event, or a service connection, direct service connection, means, hey, I got shot at in Afghanistan, I have a bullet wound in my left arm. That's a direct connection. There's no getting around that for the VA. That is a connected thing, right? Or I was, had an IED go off near me, or I was overrun in Vietnam, etc. Trying to just give everybody a kind of an idea of their own generation, right? Those things caused PTSD. Great, they caused PTSD, but what happened after that, right? And where did that obesity come in? Where did the type 2 diabetes come in, etc.? So direct service claim versus secondary claim. And then, common secondary conditions, are, like I said, diabetes, depression, there can be asthma, there can be, there's 100 different things that could really, that could really be out there. So what's needed? What's needed to make sure that we can get these secondary connections? You need a diagnosis and evidence. Diagnosis and evidence that supports those connections, right? Then you need what is the connection, the medical nexus. So you need continual medical treatment records, expert opinions, medical exam outputs, etc. Those are your medical evidence along with a diagnosis. Then you have the medical nexus. How do these connect? Can be shown through, again, medical evidence can show that. And mostly through medical evidence, you can find a lot of studies. You can go out and do all your own research if you want to in Google, or you can go and get somebody to help you find that. So it depends on your situation. I understand doing both, both of those. So the steps to file for these secondary conditions. First, identify the condition and make sure that it can be connected through secondary claims. Go out to the 38 CFR, make sure you understand what's out there. Go look at, the VA's claims website to see if that disability is out there and if it can be attributed to something that you already have. Second step, gather up all that medical evidence. Get all your medical evidence together. It is critical. Third step, and I'm going to say this, talk to medical professionals, talk to your doctors, talk to your VA folks, talk to your VSOs, get the experts involved, because making sure that you do these secondary conditions correct is the only key to success that really needs to be there outside of the physical connection, right? So now you've gone out, you've identified the condition, you have gathered the medical evidence, you've consulted with your experts. Now you're going to file your claim. And then after that, you're probably going, just based on experience, you're probably going to have to go to a CMP exam. You're probably going to have to provide any other evidence that you have that connects the two, right? Just be prepared for them to deny it. Go back, do your homework, pick it up, and go. Some things for you to avoid, right? Some things for you to avoid are lack of adequate documentation. Again, I can't stress it enough. Medical diagnosis with treatment records, not just a medical diagnosis. Get some treatment records, get some good expert medical opinions out there for you. And number two, the second pitfall, is failing to establish a clear, causal link between the primary condition and the secondary condition. Again, depression leads to to obesity, which leads to type 2 diabetes. That can be clearly done, right? So, not all conditions can be claimed as a secondary claim. Secondary claim times for the processing depends on the complexity of the claim. Right now, we're looking at 158 days, I think, right now to process a claim. So, it's going to be 5-6 months, right? And then if you need to, get yourself an expert to help you with this, whether that be a VSO, whether that be a lawyer, whatever you got to do. Make sure that you're going after something that's absolutely legit. Do all your homework up front. Go read the websites. Make sure that you know how all this works, and you'll get your claim put in and submitted and get something back, hopefully from the VA. All right, thanks y'all. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. I look forward to these comments every week when I put these out. Take care of each other.